Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into one of the bloodiest, most surprising, and most emotional entries in modern horror history, Saw X 2023. That's right, the legendary Jigsaw is back, Tobin Bell has returned, and the traps have never been more brutal. Now before we break down the film, let's set the stage. The Saw franchise has always been known for its complex timeline, gruesome traps, and moral gray areas. With Saw X, we go back in time, literally. The movie is set between Saw I and Saw II, making it both a prequel and a continuation. For longtime fans, it fills in the gaps while also delivering something surprisingly heartfelt. John Kramer at the center of the story as more than just a mastermind behind the scenes. Saw X starts by reminding us that John Kramer isn't just a horror villain. He's a man with cancer, running out of time, desperate for hope. Early in the film, we see him searching for an experimental treatment that might cure his illness. This sets up the emotional backbone of the movie. Unlike previous films where Kramer is more of a background puppeteer, here he is front and center. The decision to give him this much screen time changes the way we see him. Tobin Bell absolutely owns the role. His performance adds depth to a character who could have easily just been a one-note killer. Instead, John is sympathetic. He's vulnerable. He's desperate to live. And when he's betrayed, his transformation into Jigsaw feels both tragic and terrifying. The movie takes John to Mexico for the supposed miracle treatment. A shady group led by Cecilia Peterson offers him surgery that could save his life. Of course, we know this is Saw, and nothing is ever that simple. The treatment turns out to be a scam, a cruel con that preys on the desperate. This betrayal is what lights the fuse. And in true Jigsaw fashion, John doesn't just get mad. He gets even. What follows is a series of traps designed for the scammers who tricked him. But unlike other Saw entries where victims are often random, here there's a moral clarity. These people targeted the vulnerable for money. They lied. They stole hope. And John's punishment feels almost justified in the twisted morality of the Saw universe. Now let ES talk about the traps, because you can't have a Saw movie without creative and horrifying death machines. One of the most memorable sequences. A man must suck out his own eyeballs to survive. It's grotesque, it's shocking, and it perfectly sets the tone. Few make it out of Saw traps alive, and this is no exception. The brain surgery trap. A victim is forced to cut into their own skull to extract a piece of brain matter. Brutality mixed with surgical precision. It's not just gore for gore's sake. It ties directly into the medical scam theme. The radiator trap. Another victim has to endure extreme heat, symbolizing the fiery consequences of their lies. It's visually intense and thematically fitting. Yes, you heard that right. A horrifying waterboarding variant, except with blood. This is peak Saw nastiness. Unrelenting, disgusting, and unforgettable. The gas trap. One of the film's final set pieces. Multiple victims are chained, forced to make impossible choices under deadly gas. The tension is insane, and the cruelty feels sharper because these people really earned John's wrath. Each trap ties into themes of deception, surgery, and punishment. They aren't random torture devices. They reflect the crimes of the con artists. What makes Saw X stand out is how much time we spend with John himself. We see him sketching out traps, interacting with victims, and even forming a bond with a young boy in Mexico. These quieter moments humanize him. He isn't just the Jigsaw killer here. He's a man betrayed, a man trying to survive, and a man channeling his pain into twisted lessons. For fans, it's refreshing. For newcomers, it's chilling. Tobin Bell turns what could have been a simple horror villain into a complex anti-hero. Another highlight of the film is the return of Amanda, played by Shawnee Smith. She was always one of Jigsaw's most interesting apprentices, and here we see her relationship with John at a pivotal moment. Their dynamic adds emotional weight. John isn't alone in his crusade. He has a student, a believer. Their interactions show both mentorship and manipulation. perfectly capturing the twisted philosophy of Jigsaw. Like all Saw films, Saw X plays with the theme of morality, but this time, the message hits harder. Instead of random victims, these targets truly deserve punishment. They conned desperate people with fake medical treatments. They preyed on the weak. In Jigsaw's philosophy, they failed the test of life long before they woke up in his traps. This moral clarity makes the kills feel different. Fans who usually debate whether Jigsaw is a villain or anti-hero will find this film leaning toward the latter. He's still monstrous, but his logic is sharper here than ever. Director Kevin Greutert, who previously worked on Saw 6 and Saw 3D, returns here with renewed energy. The editing is tight, the traps are filmed with gruesome clarity, and the overall pacing feels cleaner than some of the more chaotic sequels. What really stands out is the balance between gore and story. The film doesn't just throw trap after trap at you, it lets the narrative breathe. We spend time with John. We see the betrayal, and when the traps come, they feel earned. So why does Saw X stand out in such a crowded franchise? Simple. Tobin Bell finally gets the spotlight he deserves. The traps are creative but tied to the story. The villains are clear, making the morality sharper. Amanda's return adds depth to Jigsaw's legacy. It bridges gaps in the timeline while still feeling fresh. For longtime fans, it's both nostalgic and new. For casual viewers, it's accessible without needing to remember every convoluted twist from earlier sequels. Kill count reflection. From the opening fake-out trap to the final bloody showdown, Saw X delivers plenty of kills. The exact number varies depending on how you count trap survivors versus victims, but the body count is high, and the gore is unforgettable. Yet what lingers most isn't the number of deaths. It's the emotional weight. Seeing John betrayed, seeing his humanity, and watching his philosophy harden into something monstrous. That's the real kill count. Hope dies here, and what's born is the true Jigsaw killer. With Saw X, the franchise proves it isn't dead. After years of ups and downs, from the original's brilliance to the more uneven sequels to the experimental spiral, this film is a return to form. It's Saw at its best, bloody, brutal, and surprisingly thoughtful. Fans are already clamoring for more. And if this is any indication, Jigsaw still has plenty of life left in him, even if John Kramer's body is failing. So that's Saw X 2023. A film that brings Jigsaw back to life, literally and figuratively. What did you think of it? Was it one of the best Saw films? Or do you still prefer the original? Which trap made you squirm the most? Drop your answers in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more kill counts, breakdowns, and horror deep dives, because in the world of Saw, the game is never really over.